There we go. There he is. He's
Hello.
live. Hello, Paul. How you doing?
I'm very well, Your Majesty. How are you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. Good, good. How's your
Good.
week been so far?
It's been okay. It's been quite busy. As I was saying just off stream, it's a wee surprise busy week where you think it's not going to be busy, but it is.
Yep, it's definitely sneaking up on us, I
Yeah.
think. And Christmas is the
I've not
pressure.
experienced the festivities yet though. That's
Mm,
have you been whammed yet? You were
what does
talking
that
about
mean?
oh you were talking about
What's
the
that
festive
mean?
music. If you're whammed, it's when you hear Last Christmas. You've got to go as long as you possibly can without hearing Last Christmas. And the
Okay.
moment you've heard Last Christmas, you've been whammed.
Oh, well, I'm okay so
Good,
far then.
good, good.
It's not happened yet.
I would hate to think it happened already. That's
Mm,
very early.
yeah, what is it? Yeah, literally like mid-November. I'll accept it 1st December. Christmas music can go from then, but
Hmm.
it's a little bit too early for me, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, I'm with you.
Good, good. But yes, this is Paul Kozinski. I'm sure we all know Paul Kozinski, but if you don't know Paul Kozinski, please tell everyone who you are and just, yeah, a bit about your sort of film interest, really.
Well, my name is Paul Kozinski. Hi, how are you? um, a filmic. I've been trained as an actor when I was younger, and I've been working in the theatre and film industry for too long, about 20 odd years. But I've always had an interest in film. I think in our last chat, I was talking about it was my dad really kind of watching westerns during the day, and it just I found out later in life that my dad has got a real love for film, not just watching films. He was always interested in cameras and things like that, so that's obviously filtered down to me subconsciously, and yeah, I've just always been fascinated with film. Yeah.
Is there any sort of genres that you sort of lean towards, or?
I'm pretty open. It's probably easy to say that what I don't like. I'm not a big fan of horror.
Mm,
Um,
I think
I
we
don't.
all know that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not good. I like tension. I like suspense. Things like Sixth Sense get a big tick from me. Things like that. A Quiet Place that gets a big tick from me. But
Hmm.
things like Nightmare on Elm Street, Jeepers Creepers, that kind of
Right.
thing is not for me.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
You could sort of delve into the genre if you wanted to. Yeah, something a bit more sort of clever, I guess,
Yeah,
is sort of what
yeah,
you'd
I
lean
think
to.
so. It has to have worth. I don't like being jump scared, basically.
Mm, I think that's totally fair. I think many people on this channel have seen me play likes of Until Dawn and other games
Indeed.
like that. And, I mean, you infamously made a gif of it, so.
It was too good. It was too good. It's usually me on that side of it, so I was enjoying it. I was enjoying
Yeah,
watching it.
there you go. The roles are reversed. You can see the enjoyment why people do it. But yes, so people weren't aware. Me and Paul have already had a chat. You can check that out over my YouTube. It was a bit more sort of general. I think we spoke about some of our sort of films that shouldn't have won Oscars. A bit more about
That's
sort of
right.
our sort of childhood films. I think we spoke about a bit more general with that. Um, but on this episode, it's sort of it's quite hard because I know we're both really into films, and I was like,
Hmm.
I'm not really sure to go with this topic. However, I just sort of threw a little curveball in there, and I thought, how about 5 films each that we would recommend that we think many people probably haven't really seen. They're a little bit obscure, maybe a bit hard to find, or you've seen it in a really sort of quirky cinema and an island. It's yeah. So I thought it could be like an interesting topic. I think it's proven quite hard. Would you
Hmm.
say, Paul,
Hmm.
to sort of think of those films?
Yeah, as I said to you, the when you said the topic, I was a bit, oh, that'll be easy. We can just barter that out. That'll be fine. And then it got to it, and I was like, oh no, that's more popular than I thought. And oh gosh. And then of course, just before I came online with you, I spoke to the wee Maverick, and wee Maverick said, oh well, such and such will be in that list, yeah. I was like, no, but it should be.
Oh, so have you changed your mind at like
No, no, I've not.
last minute?
I've kept my list. I've kept my
Okay,
list.
okay.
But yeah, just because it's the whole of film, and it's I'm looking at my list at the moment. I'm going, well, I bet you a lot of people have seen them, but they'll only have seen them if they want to see them. And
Mm,
like you say, we're into our movies, so it's very easy for us to say, oh well, yeah, that's a popular film, because I've seen it 10 times or whatever, but then there'll be
yeah.
people like I've never heard of it in my life. So
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting coming at because we know. Well, I'd like to think we have like at least a broad general sort of knowledge of films. So you're like, oh well, that's obvious, but maybe it's not.
Yeah, yeah.
But then again, maybe some of the choices that I've gone for, people are, oh yeah, of course I've seen that. Maybe because of like streaming services or whatever they're on. They're like, oh well, I've just bored and I've found it. So be interested to see what people say in the chat as we go along. Sort of through this discussion. But I thought the best sort of way to sort of run through this would be maybe we sort of alternate. I'll say a film, talk about that a little bit, have a little conversation, swap over to yourself, Paul, if that works for you.
Yeah, I'm easy.
Cool. And mine's in no particular order either. I don't know if you've put yours in an order.
No, I don't think. I think I'll be picking where I go, but it's not like I'm not holding one back to go. This is the one.
Yeah. That's fine. I mean, yeah, I'd be surprised if there was an order, but I was just like, 5. Okay, we'll go with those. But yeah, let's just say hello to a few people before we kick off. Who did I see come in? Anubis, hello, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Says Paolo even dresses up for other people's streams. Of course he does. He's doing a job. So.
Especially for Her Majesty. Come on.
I haven't dressed up. This is what I wore to work. Husband, hello, welcome on in. And he says hello to Paul as well.
Hello, husband.
Always lovely. But yes, lovely to see you all. Come on in, settle down, grab yourself a cup of tea, and feel free to join any points, questions. We'll definitely be referring back to the chat on this one. I mean, Tommy's already mentioned something that I did actually think about putting in my list, and I don't know if you can see the chat as well, Paolo. But
I have got it up.
I don't want to say in case. Okay. Did you include?
No, Brastoff's a great shout though.
I did think about that film, but again, I don't know if it's people do know it because I only saw it for the first time this year. So I was like, but surely everyone else has seen it. So I was like, it's good though. I was very tempted to put it in the list, but I didn't. But yes, good shout, Tommy. You go.
No, I was just gonna. I was slightly worried by the fact that I think, 4 of my 5 films are pre-2000. So there's nothing. There's nothing new.
Oh, okay.
So that's what makes
I've got the opposite.
See, that's why I'm worried because I think mine's have been out there longer, and there's one in particular. No, I'm not even going to talk about it yet.
Right. Okay. Shall we kick it off then? Would you like to go first, being the guest?
Oh, it's entirely your choice.
I think you should go first.
Okay. Where will I go? Right, okay, I'll go with the one that I'm slightly dubious about being a hidden gem. And I've chosen Hamlet, the Kenneth Branagh version.
Okay. Right, I've not seen it.
Good, that's a good start.
Yep.
My worry is, I when I chose this one, I suddenly panicked. I thought, oh gosh, that could be what like kids are getting shown in school as Hamlet now. It never occurred to me because I was gone. Well, I wasn't quite gone from school. I was leaving school that year that came out. So of course I didn't see it as part of English. But then I suddenly thought, well, maybe people see that in class. That's what they use, as opposed to whatever one it was. Well, I can't even remember what Hamlet we saw. Probably Laurence Olivier or something. But yeah, no, just I mean, I don't know how much detail you want me to go into with it or what direction to go. But it's just. Hamlet's my favourite Shakespeare play, and I like Kenneth Branagh. I do enjoy his work, particularly his Shakespeare work, and I think he's a better director than he is an actor. But I think he gets Hamlet. Hamlet must be his favourite as well. I'm convinced of it because he's on the nose with it. Yeah, and it's done so lavishly, and I'm not a fan of modernising Shakespeare. I hate when they take Shakespeare and they put it in a nightclub and things like that. I'm not into that at all.
Yeah.
I think maybe even last time I spoke about Ethan Hawke's Hamlet.
Yes, I think you did. Yeah.
It's the only film I've ever walked out of because it was so bad, so awful. Anyway, that's something else. So this Hamlet is modernised, but they've moved it into like the kind of. I think it's the 1800s, so it's not modern and it's not Shakespeare time. It's in the middle kind of thing, and it's very much kind of very fancy Denmark type fashion of late Victorian, I think it is for us, with the kind of high men's collars and things like that, and it just looks very, very stylish, and it's very grand. It's a huge set they've got, of a big room as the main kind of set, and it's done very theatrically. It's not hundreds of kind of filmic shots. It's done very much big long scenes and in one place and things like that. So it just hits the nail right in the head with Hamlet for me. And it's so well pitched. It's got such a good cast. Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet. Derek Jacobi is his uncle Claudius. Julie Christie is Gertrude. Kate Winslet's Ophelia. And it's
very good.
It's just peppered with really a strong sense of talent, from your art department to your cinematography. It's big wide shots. It was a big 70mm print as well. And yeah, it's just I feel it's kind of pushed to the side because it's Shakespeare, and it's almost put in a pocket and go, well, that's a Shakespeare play, so if you want to watch that, go and watch that. But it's just such a good film, and it's a lovely kind of a lovely depiction of grief. You know, Hamlet's grieving because his father's died and his uncle's married his mother, and it just delves right into it. Ticks all the Hamlet boxes for me, and Kenneth Branagh's performance of it is so good. But as I say, I don't know. People might be like, yeah, everyone's seen that.
I've never seen it, and I'm quite a big fan of Shakespeare.
Right.
I've seen a few like on stage. I've seen a few more of the modern ones, like David Tennant's like Hamlet and things like that. But I've never seen Kenneth Branagh in in a Shakespeare play, even though I know that's his sort of thing. He's very sort of loves the theatre and stuff. But it's one I've never seen. But like you say, I feel like you might have to sort of sort it out, whether you're doing it at school or you like Shakespeare. Like, it's not one that I would personally jump out and watch. Like I'd happily watch that David Tennant one again. I think that was really well done.
Right.
Yeah, but maybe it's because I'm not a massive fan of Kenneth Branagh. That's probably another reason why.
I do think he's a better director than he is an actor. And another thing that this hasn't got going for it is, I can't remember exactly the runtime, but it's nearly 4 hours. It must be 3.5 hours at least. Because it's pretty much uncut. Normally with I don't know how well you know Hamlet, but normally with
I've
Hamlet,
seen it on stage, yeah.
Well, normally they'll cut like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, or they'll cut Fortinbras, the guy that comes in at the end, and other bits and pieces. But this has got it all, and it's. Right. I think that's why I like it, is because it has got the whole play. It's not shy to go, no, if we're doing this, we'll do it. Yeah. And it's just shaped really well. Yeah.
Interesting choice. I wouldn't think Shakespeare would be on the list, but
there you
obviously I guess it's a story that most people know. You know, whether it's at school or not. Like, it's interesting that you chose the Shakespeare one.
Something that shocked me was all 5 on my list are based on something else. So there's not an original film. They're all based on a book or a play.
I think 2 of mine are books / real people. 2, 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, that's kicked off a few comments in the chat.
Oh my! Oh no!
We Mavericks come in, and she says,
hello.
It's very, very good to be fair. Has to be the long version though. So
yes.
It's part of English lit at uni, I think. Dancing Toaster, welcome on in. I'm Random Bloke. How are you doing? Colmac says the only Hamlet he's seen is the Patrick Stewart and David Tennant play. So what I was just referencing. I
would like to see that. I've never seen that.
It is good, even though it's like a film. It's stripped down, like they run it like a play.
Yeah,
it's just recorded in a way.
I'm not David Tennant's biggest fan. I think he's good, but it's very much certain things I like him in. But Patrick Stewart, I'll take all day.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Madam.
You're getting a reputation here, Paul. I mean, if anyone spied his little tagline today, Branagh's ham totally opened. Pardon? What? Branagh's ham totally opened up my understanding of the play.
Oh, good.
Right. Okay. You have to read it in context, okay?
Branagh's ham gives you a whole nother image.
Husband says the Ken Branagh one is amazing, so you got someone agreeing with you there.
He's right, yeah.
It's long, but it's amazing. Yeah. I mean, most Shakespeare is, 3 hours-ish runtime, regardless, I'd say.
Yeah.
So it's going to be long, but... and that's a toast to big love for David Tennant. I mean, yeah, of course. I do think he's better in certain things. I do think he does. Personally, I think he thrives in Shakespeare. He does a lot of Shakespeare work. So I would...
I'm slightly detouring now into theatre.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Just while we're on Hamlet, this is just came me just talking about David Tennant things. Gosh, and I can't remember his name now. His name's escaped me. He was he's the priest in Fleabag. Andrew
Scott.
Scott, thank you. He does Hamlet, and it was
I've not seen it,
recent.
but yeah.
I've seen clips of it, and it is the most. If you're not into Shakespeare, I urge you to go and see this or seek it out somehow, because it is so well delivered and so relaxed that it's throwaway, and you don't realise that you're listening to Shakespeare because of the way they're performing it. It's so well done. Seek it out. He's lovely as well.
Yeah, of course. We love Andrew Scott as well.
Yeah.
And he may come up later. Brill, yep, great first choice there, Paul. So I will go into mine. Again, no in particular order here. Like, I'm just going for it. So one of the films I think everyone should see that they probably haven't seen is a film called Adult Life Skills. You heard of it?
I have not.
You've not heard of it? Okay, so I saw this for the first time this year. It's always been on Netflix. It always sort of comes up on my homepage. Came out in 2016, so it's not new. And then I saved it on my watch list, and I thought, I'll come back to my watch list as it slowly builds, as it always does. And I didn't know much about it. I saw Jodie Whittaker was in the thumbnail, playing Doctor Who at the moment. I think she's a very good actress. And just press play. And I was surprised at how much of a delight this film was. It was very sort of quirky in its sort of style, very submarine, I would say.
Okay,
very bit Wes Anderson-y, a bit, Mia and the Dying Girl, like all this sort of like homages to film and sort of quirkiness like that. Everything's made out of cardboard and like cutesy outfits and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
But ultimately, it's about Jodie Whittaker is the main character, and she's sort of very much comfortable living at home with her mum. She's sort of around her 30s, sort of approaching her 30s, lives with her mum and her nan at home, has no partner, no nothing, and you sort of learn that her brother sort of has passed away, and it's sort of her dealing with that whilst like living at home and sort of trying to sort of find out who she is. She's not, she's not in the best job and stuff like that. And Brett Goldstein's in it as well. If any Ted Lasso fans are out there, he's also in that. And it's just a really good sort of British feel-good film that has heart. It has funny moments. It's sad. It's got everything. And I feel like not many people are speaking about it, but it's 5 years old now. But I think it's done really, really well. Yeah, and I think it's just really easy to connect with, whatever age, I find it quite relatable in some ways, like living at home and stuff at the moment. It's sort of having that sort of, towering over you and like trying to, I want to get a better job, all this sort of pressure, like the parents putting on pressure on this character. So I think it's very much a fun film, and I don't think many people have seen it, but it's on Netflix. So if you've got Netflix, it's a perfect place to watch it.
So that's the thing, I think, with streaming services, these wee gems come through, because you are getting stuff that maybe went straight to video or whatever, if that's still a thing, that they're sneaking
DVD.
through. DVD, yeah. They're sneaking through. I'm trying to think of another example. Something you just would not get in a major, in a major cinema. You might get it in a wee independent cinema hall, but things like that. And I think that's what's really good about streaming, is that it can flood you with things, which in turn can be overwhelming, but it just gives you options. And like you say, I love the fact that you're just flicking through and you go, I like the look of that, I'll stick it on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I just was like, I need to get down like my watch list, because I just add to it. As always, I was like, I'll watch this. It was like an hour and a half runtime. I was like, perfect. And yeah, it was great. It had me laughing, crying, everything. And there's a child actor in there as well, who's sort of like the sort of neighbour's boy. I won't go into it too much, but he gives a really, really good performance in that. And you sort of see how the main character, Jodie Whittaker's, like, whatever she does, because she acts quite childlike as well, and it's sort of how she reacts. You see how it's rubbing off on this, like, sort of young boy and the impressions that she gives and stuff. So I can't praise it enough. I think it's very, very good.
Nice.
Yep. But yeah. So if you're happy to go for your next one, Paul.
Oh, crikey. Right in.
Yeah.
Where will I go? Right. Okay. This is the one that I'm thinking this doesn't count.
Oh,
Because,
okay.
right, this might be void completely. And if it is, do tell me. But I genuinely do feel that people don't see this film. I went with The English Patient, which is, it's not necessarily a hidden gem. It's out there. It's an Oscar winner for all that. But I just, the more and more people I speak to, they're like, oh no, I don't know it at all, or I've not seen it. Yeah, I've heard of it, I've not seen it, but you've not seen it.
No,
outrageous.
I want to see it. I just haven't got around to it.
It's to be fair, it is one of those ones you need to be in the mood. You need it's long. I think it's a 2.5 hour or so. So you need to be in that mood. You need to be ready for it.
Okay.
It's one of my favourite films. I was going to put it right at the top there, but no, I can't do it. One of my favourite films. It's based on a book by Michael Ondaatje. I can never remember how to pronounce his name. Ondaatje, I think it is. I think it was the Booker Prize winner, if I remember rightly. It's the most boring book you'll ever pick up in your life. I tried to read it and it was so dull. I couldn't go over it. I couldn't go over how dull it was. But the Anthony Minghella has made this beautiful film out of it. It's Anthony Minghella's love letter to oh gosh, his name just popped out. David Lean. So your Lawrence of Arabia type thing. It's a love letter to that kind of era and that kind of film. It's got a brilliant performance from Ralph Fiennes in it. A brilliant performance from Juliette Binoche. In fact, everybody's brilliant in it, but those two particular really stand out. Again, it's my kind of film. It's that kind of my films that I really like tend to be a bit like my music in that they're quite miserable, quite downbeat. I don't know why that is, but it's very serious. It's very dramatic and very, very weird. We're performing a drama here, but it's beautifully shot. I wish I could remember who shot it. I don't think it was Roger Deakins. I don't think it was.
No, probably not.
I just can't remember who it was. But it's beautiful. Again, a beautiful widescreen film. Deserts. Just it's French countryside. It's just beautiful, or Italian countryside maybe.
Have you watched this film?
It's been a long time. There's holes in my memory. It's honestly it's so slow. It's very slow. It's like Western genre slow. But if you've got the patience with it and you like pretty pictures, it's right up there. Okay. The best thing I ever heard was I watched it with someone who turned to me at the end of it and go, they really do make them like they used to. And I was like, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. So yeah, The English Patient would be my second go and watch now film.
It's been on my list for ages. I either can't find it, it gets taken off streaming services, or I just hear good things about it. I heard, Ray Fiennes is very, very good in that one.
He is. I think he just came off the back of Schindler's List when he went to do this, so he was hot property. And I think Ray Fiennes is a brilliant actor. He's probably my favourite actor. So I could watch him read the phone book, but he just gets it in that film. He just gets what it's all about. There's a lovely story. I think it was Juliette Binoche. There's a lovely scene in it. Not spoiling anything here, but the lead female, one of the lead females writes, "Am I K in your book?" because she's kind of reading somebody's diary kind of thing. And Juliette Binoche apparently wrote to Anthony Minghella and say, "Am I K in your film?" Which I thought was a really nice story. She doesn't play that part, but I thought that was a
Right.
really nice story.
Yeah,
He's obviously went, oh, well, you're not getting that, but, you might work for this. But
That's
again, it's just
nice.
it's a lovely cat peppered with really good actors in smaller roles like Colin Firth and Willem Dafoe and things. It's just, it's beautiful, beautiful film.
Mm. Yeah, it's on my list. I can't
Doing
say
you.
it's not. I'll just move it up the list.
Aye.
I'll find it somewhere. I promise. Okay. Let's see what some people are saying about that one. Random bloke says he's heard of it, but he's never seen it either.
Get it watched, random.
Colin Max's classic. Wee Maverick says fascinating to hear someone say that a film is better than a book on which it was based. I always think my teacher. Hang on, I'm reading on the wrong screen. My English teacher said To Kill a Mockingbird was the only film that she had seen that equaled a book.
Honestly, it's the most boring book on the planet. It was so hard to read. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think I need to be in a mood. Like, I saw 2001: A Space Odyssey in a good mood. Like, I knew it was going to be long and like slow paced.
Yeah.
Therefore, I love that film. However, now people know about it, and I don't want to watch 3-hour film that's about nothing. And like, you need to watch this because it just changed the way in which like cinematography was done and so many different like, editing terms and things like this. It's just
yeah.
And I think that's
Kubrick's
what comes with
genius.
it a lot. Yes, I went to see his. He did an exhibition in London. Was it 2 years ago? I think it was.
Oh.
Yeah. So they had like probably replicas to be honest, but all sort of walking you through like all his sort of filmography, and they
Nice.
had like some props, some camera stuff, some clothes. Yeah, it was cool.
Excellent.
So there you go, little gem. MJ, hello, welcome on in. Hope you're doing well. Henry Cavill #1 stan, and she's pulling all these faces.
Yeah.
Is that not?
She knows it.
Just competition now. I think she thought she was #1, but this is actually an intervention, MJ, to let you know that Paul is the #1 stan. John Seal was.
Have you smelled him, MG? Have you smelled Henry Cavill?
I wonder what he smells like.
He smells like the morning dew. He's beautiful, Your Majesty.
Yes. Anyway, Wee Maverick says John Seal was the cinematographer of The English Patient.
John who? Sorry, John Seal.
Seal.
Okay.
The names that spring to mind.
I wouldn't have got that.
What else they've done?
He's done a good job, though.
Done a good job.
Free.
Yep. I'm gonna. I think we have the same sort of opinion on film, so I'm gonna trust you on that recommendation. Right, I will give you my next one.
Please do.
Okay. Again, we're going a little bit more obscure, but I feel like people have seen this one because it's been out for 8 years,
Right.
surprisingly. But one of my recommendations is the film Locke, Locké.
Yes.
Seen it?
No.
Heard it? Seen it? No.
Oh, no, I'll let you talk about it. Sorry.
Okay.
Jump in. Shut up, Paul.
You can take the mic. He's fine. So this is a film that I saw probably a year or two after it came out. It came out in 2013, and I don't know how it got recommended to me, but it did, because I'm not a massive Tom Hardy fan. I don't think, in my opinion, he's not the best. However, this one was recommended to me. Got it on DVD, bought it, watched it, and I absolutely loved it. I think it's such a simple thing. Again, it's sort of delving into that sort of theatrical element. It's literally set in a car. He's going on this journey, both physically and sort of, emotionally, mentally. But if anyone's not aware of the story, it follows Ivan Locke, which sees Tom Hardy put on an interesting Welsh accent, about a dedicated family man and then a construction manager, and he just receives all these sort of phone calls sort of as he's sort of doing this drive, and it sort of escalates sort of the events and stuff. And yeah, I just think with it being so simple, I think Tom Hardy's brilliant at just giving such performance. The accent is probably a little so-so, but I think his ability to react to things is really, really well done here. And it's not till later that I realised that this is actually a pretty star-studded cast. Like, people who phone in, got Olivia Colman, Andrew Scott, There's the link.
Yeah.
Tom Holland. There's loads of other people in this, but I think just his ability to react. It's quite a short film. I think, what is it, an hour and 20, something like that. But I think he just does something really, really good in this one, and I've yet to see him do a performance like that since. So I think if, like me, you weren't convinced by him as an actor, I would recommend this film. And it's interesting to see his sort of choices that he's gone with, like Venom and anything else like that. I'm like, But if you want to see a performance, and like I said, for many other actors, but I think this is one of the ones that sort of really sold it to me. But yeah, have you heard of the film, Paul?
I have. Is this the one that's in the car?
Yes, so he's literally just driving at night. I think he's on the M25, I think it is, potentially.
I do want to see that. I really do want to see that.
Yeah.
I'm a bit like yourself. I'm not the biggest Tom Hardy fan. I feel that he's doing Tom Hardy a lot of the time. But I can understand where you're coming from with the performance thing, because have you seen Brosnan?
Where he's the guy in the jail.
He is the guy in the jail, yes.
Yes, I've seen that one.
I think he's brilliant in that. And I think whenever I watch like Tom Hardy and Venom and things like that, and whatever, these kind of silly films, I always have to remind myself I saw him in Brosnan and he can do that.
Yeah.
And he is actually quite good. So, and I watched Legend recently as well, which I'd never seen. And again, it was a bit Tom Hardy doing Tom Hardy a lot of the time, but
yes,
I kind of liked what he did with the two parts, even if it was a bit Tom Hardy-ish. But yeah, I'm like yourself. I'm not his biggest fan, but I do remind myself that he can be good.
Yeah, it makes me want to really sort of see him. I don't know if he does theatre or he's ever done theatre, but I would love to see him do something like that.
I'd agree. I would love to see that as well. I don't know if he does, but...
And like for him not to put an accent on, that's the one thing. Like almost everything I've seen him in, I don't think he's been himself. Like not done his sort of native accent. But yeah, for me, I think it's a great film. Whether he's studying it as sort of the performance, you're a fan of his work. I think this is.
And is it pretty much all in the car?
Literally in the car.
I love films like one location film. I love that.
Yeah, I would love to sort of. It's not going to be on. It might be on the DVD, but maybe some kind of behind the scenes, like if they actually got the calls in. I think they filmed it over 2 nights. This whole film.
Brilliant, love it.
So I don't know where it was intended, where it was premiered, this film, but I think it's sort of, it's simple, but it gets the story, it gets the characters, it gets everything, and it's done well, in my opinion. But yeah, I've not heard anything bad about it. I know a lot of film people, and they say it's all good. So I'm not sure where you can find it.
I've not heard a bad thing about it myself, actually, how you say it.
Yeah, there you go. Didn't expect that one, did you?
I did not expect. I didn't expect a Tom Hardy on there.
No, neither did I. Until I started writing this list, I was like, hang on. And I sort of go through like my film list, and I was like, what's an obscure list that I've rated, like a film that I've rated? And I was like, look, that's a really good film that I think. But in my opinion, I think loads of people have caught up now, being 8 years ago when it came out. A lot more people I know have sort of seen it. But at the time, I was like, no one else has seen this film. This is amazing. But I think everyone's sort of caught up to the hype now. Maybe because of Venom. People might have gone, I quite like him as an actor.
Backwards,
Go back and watch him. Yeah. Which is what I do, to be fair, with a lot of actors.
Yeah.
So I think that's totally fair. But yes, got a couple of points on that one. Yes, Tom Hardy driving his car. James, yes, that is true. That's the one. Looks like Wee Maverick's just gone on one about stans and fans.
Kidding me?
Oh dear. Nothing wrong with being Tom Hardy-ish. He's not great at accents, to be fair, says MJ. Yeah, it's a bit comical, I think. And with this one, it works, I think. I think he said in an interview that he chose a Welsh accent because typically, I guess, Welsh accents, quite sort of familiar, quite comforting, typically, I guess. But the character sort of goes on a progression. And I can't spoil it. I want you to see it and then get back to me. But it was deliberate as to why he chose a Welsh accent, but it's a
Okay.
bit. It's not great, but there is a reason as to why he's done it. On that one.
A very hard accent to do, to be fair.
It is.
Welsh.
It is. Yeah. It's. Yeah. I say it's harder than like Scottish and Irish.
I would go with that. Well, certainly for me, it's harder than Scottish.
You've been putting on an accent this whole time.
That's it, this whole time, you know. It's
Ah.
constant. Like Daniel
Wow.
Day-Lewis, I'm just always like
Method.
this.
Love it. Tommy B agrees. He says, "Look, it's absolutely fantastic. I recommend it to people all the time to see Peak Hardy." There you go. Tommy agrees. The best films are the ones that are simple but do the simple things well. That's it. I mean, I think we're getting that already from some of our choices. Yes. Interesting. That's some good first two choices from both of us. Very different, you know. I wasn't sure where it was going to go, but interesting.
Is there any more Tom Hardy in your list? I have to know.
No. No. He is good, however, in a film with Benedict Cumberbatch called, is it Stuart A Life Backwards or something like that?
Is this when they were both very young?
Yes, Bennett's very slim. Tom Hardy's very slim. I'm not sure if it would pass by today's standards, possibly, with
I've
the
seen
role that Tom
clips of
Hardy
it, but-
plays. But yeah, when I saw it, it was good. It was okay, but I don't know if it would pass with a 2021, you know, kind of mindset. Maybe.
Yeah, fair play.
But yeah.
Fair play.
No, the Tom Hardy. No, he's not. You're clear of your Tom Hardy fix for today. But yeah, so if you're ready with your number 3.
Oh gosh, right, where will I go? Right, I'll go. I will do one that is probably a hidden gem.
Okay.
as opposed to the Oscar winner. But it has got another Oscar in it, Queen of the North. I went for Oscar and Lucinda, which is a 1997 film. Have you heard? Yep, that's fair.
Nope.
That's fair. It's a British Australian film, directed by Gillian Armstrong, who did Little Women with Winona Ryder back in the day.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale in that as well. There you go. And then I think she did Charlotte Grey as well with Kate Blanchett,
Don't know that
which
one.
was a kind of very famous book. It's Ralph Fiennes again, and Kate Blanchett, and it's this. What is it? It's basically. Now again, I've got holes in my memory of the plot, so I could be missing things out. But basically, Ralph Fiennes plays a boy who is called to, it's called to by God, kind of thing, and he wants to be a priest, so he goes into the church. And Kate Blanchett is a girl in Australia whose family runs a glassworks, and Ray finds his character goes to university and starts gambling for his tuition fees, and he basically pays his tuition fees, and anything extra he gives to the poor, kind of thing. And their paths cross because they love gambling. Both of them love gambling, and for whatever it is, he goes out to, I think is it New South Wales or somewhere in that neck of the woods anyway, and they're both there, and she's got her glassworks there, and he decides to make a church out of glass, but he's got a complete fear of water, so he makes a bet with another priest that he can transport this glass church on land rather than on water, because I think that the easiest way to do it would be by canal or whatever. So they're going to take it across land, and that's kind of the premise of it. It's one of these films that's what it's about, but that's not really what it's about. It's about people, that kind of thing. And again, it's just two really good performances. I saw it in the Glasgow Film Theatre, which is a wee independent theatre up here, and it was, again, it was on the back of knowing Ralph Fiennes from Schindler's List and The English Patient, and I think this might have been his next film again. And I was just,
theme here.
Yeah, I couldn't get enough of him. Honestly, I couldn't get. I was just fascinated by him, and he's got a lovely kind of different manner about him. In The English Patient, he's very much your kind of almost 1950s male lead, a very strong, not particularly masculine, but you know, chiseled jaw, very moody, doesn't smile much, that kind of thing. And then in this, he's very fragile, very, very fragile, probably deliberately to match the glass kind of thing. Yeah, and it was a really nice wee story. Again, it's based on a book by Peter Carey. Again, I think it was the Booker Prize winner. I've not read this book, so I can't tell you if it's as boring as the other one. But it was just a lovely wee film, and it was one of these films that came the GFT and maybe stayed there for a week and then disappeared, and it was never seen again. I think I eventually imported it on DVD, which I still have. But I've noticed it's now on Disney Plus. So you can watch it on Disney Plus, presumably because it's maybe Touchstone or somebody who distributed it. But it's got a lovely cast again. You know, the peppered with people like is it Kieran Hines? Kieran Hines? Syrian Hines? I can never remember how to pronounce it. You'd know him. You would know him. He played Steppenwolf in Justice League, and he was in Game of Thrones. He was the kind of leader of the people of the North. Big Irish guy. It was lovely. And you've got Tom Wilkinson in it. Richard Roxburgh, who's, you might know as the Duke from Moulin Rouge.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's Australian, I know that.
Yeah. I think he's a baddie in it, I think, if I remember rightly. And it just
is he in Mission Impossible film?
It was in a Mission Impossible film.
Yeah.
It was. I can't. The second one, it would have been the
bad one.
Yeah, that's a Johnny Woo film. Don't give us it. Goodness sake. But no, again, it's just a lovely, lovely film, and it just really connected with me at the age I was. What would I have been? About 17, and it was lovely because it was beautifully shot. Again, I can't remember who shot it, but Gillian Armstrong obviously just a real grab of these two characters and what these two characters want, and it was a really good strong female part as well for Cate Blanchett, which at that time you know were few and far between, so it was lovely to see, you know, and Cate Blanchett is the alpha in the duo, so it's lovely to kind of see a woman do that and let her loose on that, you know. Just Oscar and Lucinda.
Not even heard of it until this evening. I think
go.
you've ticked the brief on that one there, Paul.
Yeah,
you've got it.
one in the bag.
Very, very good choice. We've had a few people coming in on that one. Well, Wee Maverick's gone off again. She's asking about.
Tends to do
that. What were we talking about? Oh no, sorry, it's Tommy. Was the one with Russell Crowe plays a punk? I don't know why, but I feel like you know it to Wee Maverick, and it was Romper Stomper is the conclusion.
Romper Stomper. Yeah, I've heard of. I've not seen it, but I do know it.
Interesting. Tommy B says, "Wait, is there somebody else other than Tom Cruise and Tom Cruise's hair in Mission Impossible 2?" Yeah, there is. There is, and his ego. That's also there as well.
He does have beautiful hair. He's got beautiful hair in the second one.
It's the slow-mos and the pigeons. It's great. It's a great choice. I will add that to the list.
I don't know how it stands up. Like you were saying, that suddenly dawned on me when you said that a minute ago. I don't know how it stands up now. It's very much. I think it's made by. I think Gillian Armstrong is Australian, as in a white Australian, and it does touch on the indigenous people and things like that. But I think it falls on the right side, if I remember rightly.
Okay.
I think it does. Yeah, I think it's I think it's your baddie who's dealing with that, and you're a bit like, oh, that's not right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd be interested to know. Actually, I've not seen it, and gosh, I've not seen it in about 20 years or something, so it'd be interesting to watch back.
It's interesting you say that because I watched because we're on Australian films, but I watched Priscilla, Queen of the Desert again, this year. And I watched a couple of years ago. I was like, oh yeah, I enjoyed it. And then watched it again with sort of present day eyes, and some things work, some things don't work. There's reference there's sort of indigenous people there as well. But there's some terminology that I'm just like, and there's the whole thing about sort of casting of people. But I still enjoy it.
Right.
It's still a very, very good sort of film.
I did enjoy it when I saw it. I wouldn't be able to remember the politics of it, but it's so difficult though, isn't it? Because it's time moves on and films don't. If you know what I mean, that film is made when it was made, and that's it. It's printed.
Yep.
And the people who are responsible for the text and all that have moved on as well, and probably have different sensibility about these things. So it's really difficult.
It's toughy. It's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
But also, thank you very much, Lindsay Murr, for the follow. You also followed me during that, so thank you very much. Wee Maverick says this came from the fact that I find Australian films intriguing, just a bit rougher around the edges, and good for that. Why does that sound like a song lyric?
I presume it's budgetary. The fact that Australian films are always a wee bit rough.
Yeah.
Things like Strictly Ballroom and all that are quite very kind of almost straight to video quality.
Australian cinema. That's an interesting topic. Yeah, I don't think I've seen many Australian films as a whole, to be honest. No, I don't think I have. One.
Some good ones. Some good ones out there. Chopper. Have you seen Chopper? That's worth a watch. Do you like Eric Bana? If you remember who that is.
Is that the Hulk?
That is the Hulk, yes. It's a true life story of this guy Chopper, who was a bit of a criminal. But he plays a blinder in it. It's a bit like Brosnan. A bit like that kind of flavour.
Okay.
But Australian.
Yeah. I did watch I'm watching a TV show at the minute, and it's got the guy who plays Doctor Doom out of Fantastic Four, and he's Australian. Oh, yeah. I can't remember his name.
Justin something? No?
Yeah, maybe.
Or Jason. I know something who you mean. Very handsome. Very handsome.
Well, not necessarily now. He's had a lot of work done, shall we say.
Oh,
maybe.
no.
A bit too much, yeah.
Oh, no. Did he not do a TV show about like plastic surgery and things?
Nip Tuck. He was in Nip Tuck, yeah.
That's irony.
His face is very tight.
Oh my, that's a shame. He was a handsome boy. That's a shame.
Julian McCone. Jamie's got it. That's it.
That's the one.
There we go. Next one might have to be Australian film top 5. Get Wee Mav on.
There you go.
Just Hugh Jackman,
Nicole
Kidman, Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce,
Eric Bana,
Kylie
Minogue,
Danny Minogue,
all the Minogues,
Jason, whatever his last name is,
Donovan.
Oh god.
Baz Luhrmann directs it. It's just all them in the film.
Of course.
Baz Luhrmann directs.
Australia the musical. See it. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I like it. Okay, where are we in terms of this? Okay, we can kind of make it related, I guess, on my next one in a sort of way with the sort of wild, open space country. No, I'm really stretching for this one.
Is it worse than the Oscar-winning English Patient? No.
So this film I've added on my list. Again, it's quite a recent one. Came out in 2018. I think it was Netflix exclusive. Netflix made it. And it's a film called Dumpling.
Oh. I think I've seen it in Netflix, but I've never watched it.
Okay. I don't know why I watched this film, but I did. And basically it follows this sort of young girl, probably about 17 or so, and she's called Dumpling. That's her nickname. She gets sort of given by her mum and like her peers at school, and her mum is played by Jennifer Aniston. And she was a sort of beauty pageant queen in sort of Texas and sort of the state or sort of county sort of thing. So she's got this sort of need to sort of try and see if her daughter will do that as well. She's got this sort of heritage and this sort of history to sort of uphold, and she goes and presents and stuff. And then you have this element where main character is sort of brought by her auntie, and her auntie loves Dolly Parton. So the film is like flooded with Dolly Parton music, and and then this sort of this auntie dies. We find out that sort of early on in the story, and that sort of shapes the way in which Dumpling, our sort of main character, sort of goes about the film. So she sort of wants to join the pageant, that her mum will sort of be there, sort of hosting, but not to sort of spite her, but rather to sort of pay homage to her auntie who wanted to do it but never did because she was sort of like a larger woman, and so is our main character. So it looks at so many different themes of sort of expectations, you know, loving yourself. There's so many good things to look at. I'd say it's sort of not coming of age, but you know, if you saw this as a teenager, you think, oh, okay, this is like a good film. This is, you know, the sort of ideal time to see this film, possibly.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just, it has you laughing, crying, like adult life skills. And yeah, it's got Dolly Parton like throughout the sort of film. It's great, and I think she made 2 new songs for the film.
Brilliant.
So she was involved, definitely. But I just think it's a great film that really sort of reminded me, if you've seen is it Drop Dead Gorgeous, the sort of mockumentary pageant film.
Right. Okay. I know
It's
the one
like
you mean.
that,
Yeah.
but a bit more serious. And I just think, yeah, it gives a lot of positivity. So, you know, yeah, I think it's good to have a film like that. Sort of, you can sort of go back to, you know, oh, actually, yeah. So I really like it, and I don't think many people have seen it. Whether like they're being put off by Dolly Parton, it's sort of country western, it's pageants. It doesn't matter like what the setting is. Like you can find something with it.
Dolly Parton.
Some people might be though.
The maniacs.
Where are they?
That sounds interesting, yeah.
I just think it's a very sort of sweet film, and Jennifer Aniston gives a really good performance. Like, because, you know, you've seen her in Friends. She did a few, like, comedy films, like Meet the Fockers or Meet the Parents and things like this. You know, she sort of got typecast a little bit.
Right.
But this is something very, very different for her. Like, she puts on, like, a southern sort of accent. You know, she's very sort of, the way she holds herself is completely different. So I think it's a good role for her as well.
She kind of seeks out a couple of roles like that, I've noticed. I think she wants to be better than she's labelled.
Yeah.
The one you'll probably know, actually, it was with Jake Gyllenhaal, wasn't it?
I've not seen it, but Snowbuckle did mention that on the other stream about when they work in like a supermarket.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I've heard she's very good in that as well. So that's good. She's getting opportunities.
Yeah,
it must be difficult when you're a big star to get these roles and convince, you know, your management essentially that this is a good idea. It must be so difficult.
Yeah, like being attached to a TV show for, you know, 10 years. But then also trying to do other things. I mean, you know, Courtney Cox did like Scream, and she had her own like TV shows and stuff. But yeah, I think this is a real sort of this, and I've heard good things about The Morning Show. I've heard Jennifer is very good in that as well. But I think she sort of is a very good. She gives a very good performance in this one. Yeah, I highly recommend this film.
Nice.
I'm choosing, well, I wouldn't say lock is feel good, but 2 sort of feel good films, and then 1 sort of more performance driven, character based film. So it's a mixture.
Dumpling, it was called.
Yeah, Dumpling. Dumplin. Yeah.
Okay, Dumpling. Okay.
Yeah, no G.
No G.
Yeah, that's it. Tommy B, what is he saying? Oscars 2023 just becomes a World Cup format. What? Hang on. What? Where's this come from? Aniston is so good in it. We Mavericks seen it then? Being a millionaire probably numbs the pain, to be fair.
Oh, this is true, yeah.
I mean, season 10, they got, like, is it $1 million each per episode or something? Mad. Ludicrous. A lot of money. Courtney Cox's iconic role for me will always be the Springsteen video. Yeah. Was it I'm on Fire or I can't remember which one, but I saw it literally like last week on TV. Like, you know, these sort of 80s best hits, blah 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 blah, and Courtney Cox has been pulled out the crowd, and I was like, oh, okay.
That's right, yeah.
You're talking about an Australian film with Lerman directing. Oh, okay, right, okay, I get you, Tommy, I get you. But yes, okay, so we've gone 3 for 3. 3 for 3. We're doing good for time. Yeah, we're doing good for time. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Are you ready to go to your final 2?
Oh, where do I go next?
you've got 50-50 of which one you go next.
I'll save that one for the end, right? 'Cause that's probably more than this one.
Okay. Okay.
For my fourth choice, then, Queen of the North, I have chosen The Road.
Yes, I've seen it.
You seen it?
This one?
Yes, there we go. There's a tick.
Yeah.
Um,
Viggo Mortensen.
Yes, indeed. Again, not the smallest film in the world. But I think people avoid it, and I know why, because it's depressing as heck.
Yeah.
It's not a date movie. It's not a date movie. It's of course based on the book by Cormac McCarthy, and it's directed by John Hillcoat, who did like The Proposition, and that awful. Well, I've not actually seen it all. To be fair, the Lawless with Tom Hardy.
Well, I've not seen that.
I've seen I think the first 20 minutes of it or something. But I do like John Hillcoat. I like it. The Proposition is a great film. If you've not seen that, maybe I should have
seen that.
Maybe I should have picked that one actually.
Subcategory.
Yeah. That's a really good film with Guy Pearce and
Australian themes here. Ray Fiennes. What's going on?
It's all threaded in. We don't just come up with this, people. So you just said Viggo Mortensen. I never know how to say his name.
Yeah.
And Cody Smith McPhee, if I remember rightly.
The boy is Australian as well. So you
go. Australian? There you go. Who I recently watched in oh gosh, what was it? The Eddie Murphy film Dolomite. My Name is Dolomite.
Yeah.
He turned up in that, and I was like, "That's that boy from The Road," but he's a man. It's bizarre. I've read the book of The Road, and I'm not the biggest reader in the world. I don't read many books, but I have read The Road, and I was sobbing like a baby. It's the only thing on a page that's made me cry. Was The Road, and do you know, I can't remember if I saw the film first. I think I must have seen the film first. I can't remember what I did first, but the book was deemed unfilmable because it was the way it's written is very bitty, it's very segmenty, so it's not kind of got a perfect through line through it. And what John Hillcoat's done with the film is taken a really good book and made it a really good film in a kind of different way. The film destroyed me as well. I was a blubbering mess as well. It's the story of if you don't know it, the story of a dad and his son, kind of post-apocalyptic. We don't know what's happened. Probably weather is my guess. So try to survive, and the goal is to get to the coast, because they think if they can get to the coast, then they'll be safe, and there's possibly life there. And it's just them essentially crossing the country, but it just gets worse and worse and worse. And it's I learned that Cormac McCarthy wrote this book because he's a very, very old dad. I mean, I don't know how he could have been 60 when he had his boy, and he realised that I'm not going to be able to meet this boy. You know, I'll know him as a boy, but as a man, I'll never know him. So he wrote The Road as a kind of love letter to this boy, who you'll probably never really know very well, and I just breaks my heart. And so it's very much, you know, father-son story, and it's just so steeped in, you know, what a dad should be and what he needs to be, and just so it's so thick with that kind of characterization. And Viggo Mortensen plays a blinder with it. I think he's not a method actor, Viggo, but he's I think he went full as much as he could without staying in character, if you know what I mean. I think he slept in his clothes and things like that. He didn't wash, all that kind of stuff, which is not my bag as an actor. That wouldn't be me, but you know, he was just so dedicated to making this work, and the relationship between him and the boy is really good. And again, peppered with really nice cast members in it. I think there's Robert Duvall's in it. Michael K. Williams was in it. it was one of these films that I just watched again, beautifully shot, beautifully structured, a brilliant score by Nick Cave and Warren Ellis, who I really like. And it was just, it's honestly, it's a beautiful, beautiful film, and I think people don't watch it because it's so depressing, and it is. It's so grim. It's so grim. There's not a lot of hope in it. There is hope in it. There's not a lot of hope. It's very downbeat. It's very dark. It's very grey. It's not a pleasant watch, but it's such a beautiful feeling, if you like, in the film, that it's worth it. And I just think people kind of push it aside because it's too much. It's too depressing.
It's a little bit like when you were saying earlier about your first choice of Hamlet. You know, I think you need to be in a mindset going into this film.
100%.
Know what you're going to get in for. And if I think you know that, then, you know, that's fine. Like, there's so many films that are like that, you know, whether you want to, you know, go back and watch more, you're like, I know this film's going to be tough. If you're in the right mindset, I think, you know, that's the best sort of, you know, best way you can prepare yourself.
It's interesting. Yeah, I'm 100% with you. It's interesting as well because I think of films, you know, like Schindler's List is a very hard watch, but I would watch it again. You've not seen it? Oh, watch it. Watch it. It's worth it. Spielberg at his best. The Road is a hard watch, but I would watch it again just to enjoy the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And then there's films like oh gosh, what was it? Is it Flight 47? Whatever it was, the one about the Paul Greengrass film that's based on the plane that crashed at the Pentagon, I think, in the September 11 attacks.
That rings a bell. Flight 47.
Is it Flight 47? It's something like that. Anyway, it's the flight number, whatever it was. And it was, I watched that film and it was a very good film, and I get why it was made, but I have no intention to ever watch that film again. Yeah. I've seen it and I don't want to see it again.
That's it. You've ticked it off the list. Yep, I felt the emotion. I've got it, but I don't think I can revisit it because it's so. It was just
it's so mental. It's so it bothers me because they don't know what happened. I think that's what bothers me. It's essentially pieced together by certain things and then made up, a bit like The Perfect Storm, which annoys me. Nah, I don't want to see that ever. So it's funny how there's certain films that you know, as you're saying, you need to be in the mood for, and you know what you're going to get. That I could watch again, but there's others that I'm a bit like, no, I've done that. That's done. Juicy tick, done. I'll move on. I'll never watch that again. Yeah. But I got it. I got an experience out of that film.
Yeah.
But it's done.
Yeah,
it's
funny.
Funny.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny about that because it's one of the films, I'll say it because it's not on my list, but one of the films I was thinking about. But again, it falls literally under what we're saying now. There's a film called A Monster Calls, which I've only seen once.
Yeah.
I think I saw it in the cinema, and oh my god, I don't think I've cried so much like watching the film. Yeah, it was a bit weird because Liam Neeson was the voice of this sort of creature thing, but I just found it absolutely like I was just sobbing, like, you know, and just like snot dripping, everything, like it was. But I would like to go back again and watch it, but again, I'd really have to be in the mindset to watch one. But I thought it was done excellently. Again, I think that it was a mainstream release in cinema. I saw it in the main cinema, but again, I think it flew under the radar. That was based on a book as well. That one. But yeah, so I did think about that one, but yeah, repeatability is a thing I think as well, and I don't think it has that. It's had its effect.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure. Interesting. Dan Stowe says it was United 93.
That's the one. United 93. I think Flight 47 is a different thing.
I've heard of Flight 47 though.
Yeah, I think that's maybe more like a kind of Denzel Washington action movie or something. I don't know.
I was thinking of like Sully, like that kind of Denzel Washington, like that sort of thing. Yeah, maybe it's that.
Of course it is.
Let's see what a few people were saying. Wee Maverick says, I read the book and could never ever face watching the film. I actually remember the book as if I watched it. It was so descriptive. That's a good adaptation then. Would you say it's one of the best adaptations you've seen, that you know you've read and then seen?
It is, because it makes it its own thing. I think it's not, it's not like, oh, they've done that very like the book. They couldn't, as they say, it was unfilmable. It was too pieced together. Whereas the film is actually a kind of story. It's it's not just a collection of bits. It is a kind of through line to it, as you know. So, I mean, and in that sense, it is a very good adaptation. It's like a cover. Do you know what I mean? It's like, when bands do covers, you much prefer covers that are completely different from what the original was, but has the original in it.
Yeah.
As opposed to someone just copying it. So, yeah.
That's true. Yeah. That's what makes a good adaptation, then.
There you are.
Crimp, thank you very much. That resubscription is very much appreciated. I've got my alerts turned off just whilst we're filming, but thank you very much for the resub. That's Toaster says, I've seen 1.5 hours of Schindler's List at school. Why did you stop?
Why did you stop?
Just the lesson ended. You're like, you'll never watch it again. He says, I love The Perfect Storm. Absolutely love movies where the weather or extreme weather is like a character. Twister, he says as well.
Perfect Storm's a sham. Perfect Storm's based on a book that was written, 'cause it's a true story, but spoiler, all the people are lost at sea, so they don't know what happened, and the families of the people actually sued the writers because they made this one guy a baddie, and they kind of put it all on him, and they were like, no, you don't know that's what happened, and they sued them. It's one of the worst written films. I'm surprised Dancing Toaster's liking it. It's one of the worst written films I've ever watched. I remember coming out going, that was a dodgy script. I'm shocked, Dancing Toaster.
I'll check it out. I'm always happy to check out a bad film as well. If I know it's bad going in, then I'm sure I can find some joy out of it. Crimp says The Usual Suspects should fall into the category, but I can watch it every few years because I enjoy the acting. But obviously, Spacey's on the shittest list now.
It's ruined it, man. He's in so many good films.
Yes, I mean, American Beauty was one of my favourites for a while.
There you go.
It's changed. It also says Con Air. We're getting all these airplane films now.
The airplane films.
Airplane 1, Airplane 2. Passenger 57 with Wesley Snipes.
That's the one. That must have been the one that was rolling around my head.
Snakes on a plane. Oh my God. We're just... This isn't about film set on planes, guys. We can do that again. That could be another one. Okay. Yeah. Interesting choice. Add it to the list.
I don't know if it's a hidden gem though. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many people have seen The Road. That's the thing.
I feel like it's probably the most, to me, it's the only one I've seen that you've said. But I didn't see it when it came out. I think I saw it on streaming services or something like that and sought it out that way. I feel like people have seen that one. I would say so.
Fair play.
I'd say that's probably the most modern one you've got on your list as well, isn't it?
It is. That's the only one that's after 2000. Yeah.
Yes. I've actually seen that one, so that's a good standing. Okay, right. Second, which one do I go for? I've got two. Okay, no, I think you'll like this one. This is again, I don't think people have seen it, but I'm not shouting, guns blazing. It's the best film ever. However, I think you'll like it because of a certain actor.
Because Tom Hardy in.
No Tom Hardy in this film. The fourth film on my list is a film called Official Secrets, which came out in 2019. It stars your man, Ray Fiennes.
Oh, there you go.
There's the
I've not even heard of this one.
You call yourself a Ray Fiennes fan.
I've moved on to Henry Cavill now, so it's...
That is true. Yes, so this is a film that it's a real life story following Catherine Gunn, played by Keira Knightley, who worked for the sort of, is it MI5, MI6, some kind of British intelligence, and she leaks a secret memo to the sort of newspapers in order to avoid the Iraq invasion by the US and her government. It's something that I didn't really know about. I know it, obviously, I was quite young sort of when
Right.
the sort of, the Iraq War and stuff happened. So I didn't really know much about this going in. However, what drew me to the film were the actors. You got Keira Knightley, Ray Fiennes, Matt Smith, Tamsin Greig. There's loads of other actors that you'd recognise. Really sort of good British cast. And I think it's definitely one of the better roles that I've seen Keira Knightley in. She's one of these actresses that I think's been sort of typecast. Pirates of the Caribbean, Pride and Prejudice, sort of this sort of, I don't know how to describe her, but sort of blank canvas sort of face, not much reactions and things like that. But I think in this film, she gives a really, really good performance, and I think she's what carries this film.
All
Dare
right.
I say? And I think I found it interesting in terms of looking down a sort of section of the sort of Iraq War that I didn't really know about, and the fact I knew it was based on someone, a real person going in, and I just think it's interesting the way in which it sort of provided the information. I thought it was done really sort of accessibly, and I like there's an element which must be true, but the main character's husband is sort of from the Middle East as well. So that adds in another factor to this sort of scandal when they find out what Keira Knightley's character's done and sort of sent this sort of message to the papers, and it gets out. They sort of bring in her husband and like, well, your husband, because obviously this was, post like 9/11 and stuff. So their perception of her husband comes into that. So it's interesting. And it's interesting as well because the sort of the year it's set, you're like, oh, feels fairly recent sort of history, but they're using like floppy disks. There's this really intense scene where she has to like transfer something from a floppy disk to a PC, and you're like, someone's coming, you're like, oh my god, the pressure. So it's just funny like seeing how much it's dated, even sort of 18, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting. But yeah, I think it's interesting in the sense of the subject matter, but I think what we said previously, I don't know if it has the rewatchability, because I think
Right.
with a lot of sort of real life stories and, biopics or the Oscar films that come out, I could probably watch them once. Oh yeah, it's a good film, but would I watch it again because I know the twists and the turns and the information? I'm not too sure, but I found this one really sort of good, and it sort of fits into that sort of journalist films, Spotlight, The Post.
Right.
Those sort of films, but because it's sort of a British version, I don't
Right.
think it really got a look in, Oscars and stuff and BAFTAs, but I think it's sort of done pretty well. But yeah, that's my addition to the list.
I didn't know that at all. That sounds interesting. I don't like Keira Knightley at all.
No, I think that's fair.
And I can't really take Matt Smith either. So I'm struggling going the north.
But Ray Fiennes.
Ray Fiennes and Tamsin Greig might balance it out.
Yeah, Ray Fiennes plays a lawyer, if that helps. A good lawyer. He's the good lawyer that we like.
He's a good guy. Good.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's good. And like I said, it changed my opinion of Keira Knightley. I think
Okay.
she's not the strongest actress, but I think in this one she holds her own. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's pretty good in this one.
I think you make a good point that she's been pigeonholed a wee bit, and a bit like Jennifer Aniston, I suppose. It must be hard for her to come out of that and get the roles that she maybe wants to do, as opposed to the ones that people think she could do.
Yeah, I think she started with that with the Imitation Game. She played
Right.
Benedict Cumberbatch's wife within that.
Right.
And she had a bit more about her, like she was quite intelligent. She knew about computers and stuff like that, her character. And that was 2014, 15, I think it was. So yeah, she's trying to get these roles. And this was 2019, this film. So I think she's trying to break out of that mold.
Yeah. She was quite good in Atonement. I think it's because it maybe fit in that box that she'd been put in.
A bit rom-commy, a bit.
Yeah. So she didn't bother me too much in that, but I think everything else she kind of irks me a little.
I think that it's totally fair, but give it a go.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
I think it was on Prime. I'm not sure if it's still on Prime.
Right, okay.
But it was, so you can definitely watch it there.
Nice.
However you choose to watch your films. But yeah, so that's a bit of a curveball. I feel that's probably the most recent one on my list. Yeah, that's the most recent one.
That's a proper wee dug in one. No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's fitting the remit.
Yeah, it's just a bit more political, I guess. It's a bit more based on real people. Like for definitely this one's based on real people. But hopefully that might pique some people's interest to check it out. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Let's just have a look. Dancing Toast, I can see he's commenting about this one.
Oh.
Started watching Official Secrets and stopped watching. Might need to pick it up again.
Oh.
Now it's on Queen of the North list. I'm not a big fan of Keira Knightley, so I think that's why I stopped. Sorry, Keira. Yeah, yeah. But trust me, stick with this one. You know, I'd like to think I'm a very harsh critic. I'm sure many people can vouch for that. You know, I give things very harsh ratings. But if I'm saying this is good, it's going to be good. He says he thinks it's on Netflix now, maybe. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Swapped over. A couple of people are coming in with some points. Group says we need a Tom Hardy and Nick Cage buddy film where the director lets them run I can't even say that word. Roughshod over the script. Roughshod. Is that a word? I don't know.
Roughshod. I don't know that word.
Maybe it's a spelling error. Tommy B says I think mine are probably Studs, Hunger. Yep, that's another good film.
Is that the Michael Fassbender?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Again, very much what I touched on with Tom Hardy. You know, Michael Fassbender's chosen some dodgy films. I will say that.
He has. You're not wrong.
But those earlier career films like Hunger, Shame, and I think Frank's quite good as well because that's a bit different. I think he's quite good in those ones. So that's a solid choice. Brastoff, yep, that's very good. The Wrestler, never seen it.
Not seen it, no of it though.
And Always Be My Maybe. Don't know that one either. I've literally been mulling over that since we started. If Always Be My Baby is too mainstream, then I'll have In the Loop. Or
In the Loop's good.
The Rainmaker.
Oh, The Rainmaker, that's a harken back.
I mean, there's a mixture there, Tommy, of some films that I've seen, some things that I've heard of, and some I don't even know. So this is all useful to me because I'm just going to add these to my watch list and I will check them out. Hello, Ride or Die, welcome on in. Roughshod marked by brutal force. Oh, it is a word.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense then. Let them brute force. Okay. I get you, Crimp. I get you.
We've all learned a word tonight. That's it.
Every day is a school day.
Exactly.
Right. Are we ready for our final choices?
Well, like I say, you know, there's been no order, so it's not like this is a big one.
No.
just to kill all the expectations there.
Yeah. Low expectations.
When I left college, I went through a big phase of gobbling up Asian film. I could take as much as I could possibly handle. And I remember going to, again, they said the GFT was great for independent film. Still is. And I remember going along, and I loved going in the morning. I love going to the cinema in the morning. That's my favourite time to go. And it must have been
about.
Love it. Must have been about 11 o'clock in the morning for the GFT, I think. Remember the first showing. And again, it was I just saw it was another Asian film they were showing. I'll go and see this. I knew nothing about it. And it blew me away because I'd never seen anything like it. And it is Battle Royale, which I had no expectation going in.
Okay.
And again, I think a lot of people have seen this now.
Not me.
But if you haven't, you must see it. You must see it before something else spoils it.
Okay.
It's it's based on a book by Kushin Takami. Kushin Takami, I think is how you say it. Okay. Directed by, no, I've written this one down because I couldn't remember. Kinki Fusaka. I think it's Kinji. I think I've typed that wrong. I think it's Kinji Fukasaku. Who did he became famous for doing like Yakuza films and things, kind of your gangsters, and if I remember rightly, I think he did the Japanese section of Tora Tora Tora, all the Japanese bits in that. He did that. And this was his last film. He was quite old when he did it. And if you don't know the story of Battle Royale, it starts with a school class, and basically the teacher is telling them what's going to happen. And what's going to happen is basically you've all got a number, and you're all going to go out, and you're all going to kill each other, and whoever's left wins. And this is where Battle Royale came from.
The game, like playing games, like
the game mode, yeah. This is where it came from.
Okay.
I don't know if this was the first film to do that, but it was certainly the first to call it Battle Royale, or the book, I suppose, the novel called it Battle Royale. And it's you know, without this, there's no Hunger Games. Without this, there's no Squid Games. Squid Game, even. It's just, it was so well done. It was such a good premise to begin with, and there must be something before this that does this kind of thing, this kind of last man standing thing. But the premise there was, it's a school year that gets selected every year, from a different school. It's just so they all know each other. It's not like they're randoms put together. It's a school class that are transported into this forestry and just basically given free rein to kill each other. And it's oh gosh, Takeshi Kitano, or Beat Takeshi, who is the kind of the teacher, if you like, the kind of guy running it almost, who is a big Japanese actor, director. I think comedian as well. Takeshi's Castle, if you've heard of that game show, that's him. He presented that. I think that was his show. So having him in it, was really quite interesting, because it was this kind of slightly comedic actor doing this very bloodthirsty film. And it blew me away. I was a bit like, what have I just watched? What have I just watched? And it's that kind of way, you know, with all these kind of films, the novelty of the premise slightly wears off throughout the film, so that it's not as special feeling by the time you get to the end, and it's not as, you know, the first hour of the film is brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and then it kind of trundles along and it's all right. But if you've not seen Battle Royale, you must watch it, because this is what the Hunger Games should be.
When it's done well.
Yes. It's very, very violent, and I'm not really into that kind of thing, but because of what it is, it works, and I can put up with it. And it's just, it's so well made.
What year did it come out?
2000. Year 2000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they made a sequel to it, which I've never seen, which I own and I've never watched yet, because I'm frightened that it's going to ruin it for me.
Maybe.
I've had it for 15 years and I've never watched it. So one day I'll get round to watching it. Maybe I should watch it on stream.
Yeah, maybe. That could be a good idea.
But yeah, no, it blew me away, and to this day, it's my most prized Blu-ray. A Blu-ray came out of it. There was a collector's edition, and it's you know, it's one of these ones I paid £90 for because I loved it so much. And it's just a lovely box set. Yeah, so if you've not seen Battle Royale, watch it.
There we go, people. There's Paul's 5 choices. Wow. Yeah. I was waiting to see if anyone put like a sort of foreign film on their list, and you did.
There you go. Japanese film in there.
Perfect. Wait, Maverick says, you paid what?
You know. And what's lovely is you know you buy these box sets and things, these special editions, and you go and then you find out everybody's got them and all that. This one they don't. This one's went up in price.
Keep hold of that
Huzzah!
one. Maybe eBay, in a few years' time.
Well, won't be long.
Not be long. Right, I mean, all 5 of your choices have been excellent, Paul. I only knew one of the films. I've only seen one of the films. I've heard of some of them. Hadn't seen a lot of them, but we can add these to the list, and I will check back in with you and let you know my thoughts on those ones. Again, we've had a few comments coming in. Dancing Toaster says, I don't know if he's being jokey here. I'm sure you can enlighten us. He says his 5 films would be Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Nobody will know if I'm joking.
I'd say he's half joking. That's what he wants to put, but he feels that he should put something a bit more philosophical. Or
I need to put this really arty film on.
That's what he wants to put.
I mean, if you want to praise those 5 films even more, go ahead. But I think most people have seen those films, at least 3 of those films, surely. Crip says Battle Royale is a better book. It gives so much more context to the characters.
I would imagine it could be because of the pace of it. It's very fast paced, the film. And I'd imagine the book will delve into this a bit more, which I've never read.
Again, you've gone with adaptations this evening, a lot of adaptations.
Indeed. I've never read the book because I was always frightened about the translation. I get the fear that the translation isn't doing justice, which is the same for subtitles. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know who I'm kidding, but and I've never got around to reading the book.
Like you said, maybe you don't. It's so good as it is. It's so precious. You don't want to have other versions or different, sequels and just mess with it. But you're like, this is too good.
Yeah, and I think if I went back and watched it now, I think it's quite B-movie-ish. In my head, it's not. But then when I think about it, I imagine it is quite low budget. Well, it was fairly low budget, but I think it's going to be quite B-movie more than I think it is.
Yeah, maybe some of the practical visual effects might be a little bit cheesy, comical now, I guess.
Yeah, I'd imagine some of the editing's a bit shoddy compared to now.
I quite like that. Like, I've watched quite a few films this year. I've watched quite a lot of horror films this year. It's like I watched Evil Dead 2 for the first time. Quite enjoyed that one because it was just a bit silly, but it was like blood and gore. What else was another good film I watched? Oh, God, what was it called? Was it called? It's basically like all these sort of like a couple of people got dropped and they have to sort of like they're being hunted. It's called The Hunt. That's it, and it's got the guy out of Always Sunny in it. Who plays?
Which one? I mean that I've got it's comedy no matter who I pick. I want it to be Charlie Day, but it surely can't be.
No. It's the twins. It's
Glenn Howerton.
Yeah, he's in it. I really liked it. People I watched it with did not enjoy it, but it was just stupid violence and just I really, really enjoyed that one. But so if it's like anything like that, I think I would enjoy.
Okay.
This is what I'm thinking. Yeah, I like that kind of silly gore, shall we call it? A bit retro. Dancing Toast says he was definitely half joking.
Yeah.
So,
is he joking about that though? That's the question.
Is that a joke in itself? It's all very meta now. Right. Okay. So I guess we're on to my last choice.
Dun dun dun. Tom Hardy in.
This is all Tom Hardy films. Venom 2. No, I'm joking. Okay. Yep. So my last film on my list that I think everyone should see is a film that came out in 2013. Again, I think I've chosen a couple of films from 2013. Locke was 2013. And this film is a film called Starred Up.
Oh, yes. Heard of it? Not seen it.
Not seen it. Ah. Okay. So it's directed by David Mackenzie. I think he went on to make Hell or High Water.
Yeah.
And it stars Jack O'Connell, who was in Skins, other things like that. Ben Mendelsohn, Rupert Friend.
Ben Mendelsohn.
This was the first time I saw Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh, yes.
Well, I mean,
that's pretty much when he was coming out, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. And again, we've got the Australian link there.
Yeah.
Didn't know he's Australian. In this film, he's not Australian. So I was like, what? When you hear him speak, I was like, oh my God. Yes, so the story, without spoiling it, you follow Eric, played by Jack O'Connell, who's 19, and he gets locked up in prison. And in this prison, he realises that his dad is also in that prison, played by Ben Mendelsohn. So it's sort of him trying to I guess sort of come to terms with, you know, sort of the charges he's got with, but also trying to sort of build this relationship back up with his father. You know, they're both sort of criminals and stuff. And this was found out sort of after watching it, it's based on a book as well. And Rupert Friend in this sort of plays sort of this sort of psychologist within the prison, and he tries to sort of help Jack O'Connell's character rehabilitate and like sort of understand, you know, why did you do these actions, about your relationship with your father, things like that. And that's who wrote that book, was the sort of psychologist.
Oh, okay.
So it's very sort of grounded in, you know, what really happens, I assume, in sort of British prisons and sort of the system and stuff like that. And it's an 18. It's quite sort of violent, quite nitty gritty, I would say. Like, you know, there's a lot of physicality to Jack O'Connor's performance. I'd say like Bronson a little bit, but probably a bit more violent.
Right.
And I think what I like about it, despite it being set in a prison, is it's all about sort of relationships, especially like male relationships. Looking back on it, it's like there's very much this thing about sort of like male mental health that you know in 2013 probably wasn't their intention necessarily, or wasn't like a big sort of topic within media. But they talk about sort of male mental health, male relationships, sort of masculinity and like roles, you know, being a father, being a son, and that sort of dynamic. So I think it really holds up, and it's really sort of a classic story, regardless if it's in a prison, if it's, you know, set in a jungle, it's set in a horror film. It still works because at the core of it, it's about a son and a dad, like, and their sort of dynamic. And I think it's just, it's a very good film. I wouldn't, like I said, the violence is probably the only thing I would just pre-warn people about. But I think it's a very good film, and I think it put Jack O'Connell on a bit of a pedestal because he came off Skins like 2009, 2010, I think it was, and then he started to do a few films. I think he did Unbroken, which was Angelina Jolie directed film. He's done quite a few films.
Seen 71 as well.
71, yeah. So he's done quite well, really, coming out of that show. A lot of Skins actors have, but I think this one is a really, really good performance, and I can see Jamesy agrees as well. He says it's a good film choice.
I've heard good things about it. Yeah, I've not seen it, as I say, but I have heard good things about it.
Yeah, I can't remember how I saw it, when I saw it, but it was a while ago. And again, it's one of those films that sort of later did pick up traction. You know, people are like, oh, have you checked out this film? It's like, yeah, I've seen that one. That one's good. But I just think I'm not a massive prisons, like jail sort of type of film fan.
Sure, yeah.
I guess I've not seen it, but what I would liken to was that new series with Stephen Graham and Colin's favourite person, the North. What's his name? Ned Stark. What's his name?
Sean Bean.
Sean Bean and Stephen Graham in a programme about sort of the British imprisonment sort of thing, and there's that sort of dynamic there, and I think that's very, very similar with this film. Life, that's what it's called, I just would really recommend it. I think Ben Mendelsohn's great in it. And I've later watched a lot of his work, and I think, you know, solid. And again, he went on to be in like Star Wars, Marvel. He's done really well for himself. But again, I think this is all about performance, this film, and I think it's very, very good.
I remember everyone singing your man's praise. Was it Jack Connell? Was that his name?
Jack O'Connell.
Jack O'Connell. Yeah, I remember everyone singing his praises of that film. David Mackenzie, did he go on to do the Outlaw King?
I'm not sure. I know he did Hell or High Water. I don't know if he did.
I get confused. I think I get mixed up between two people.
No, he did do Outlaw King.
Did he? Right, okay.
I sort of skipped through that film.
It was alright. It started really well, but
yeah, Chris Pine doing an English accent again. I don't think, or Scottish, wasn't it?
Scottish accent, yeah.
It wasn't.
To be fair, his accent wasn't that as bad as people were making out, because I think they made a decision to go very local to that area of that time, so they sound really bizarre. They sound almost like fake Scottish accents, but that's kind of what they would sound like because they were untouched, kind of thing. So, but the film itself's a bit, meh.
Yeah.
But I've heard good things about Hell or High Water as well, so you know he must have a pair of chops on him.
Yeah, I think I was speaking to husband recently, and he mentioned this Hell or High Water being like excellent. I can't remember what the context was, but just looking at it now, the music for Hell or High Water was done by Nick Cave as well.
There you go.
So it's all linking tonight, unintentionally. We didn't plan this, I promise. Everything's just happened to link up.
The world revolves around Australia.
Yeah. But yeah, I would highly recommend it. I think I'm not sure where you can view it. But yeah, it's hour and a half again, hour and 40. Nice, perfectly rounded up film.
Nice.
I would recommend it. Yeah.
Good choices, Queen North.
I think we've had such a mixture. It was just such a it was an interesting topic, and I was just like, I don't know where to go with this. And it's always interesting hearing what other people like yourself have said, or people in the chat, because you don't know what people have watched. You know,
Not exactly.
Most people might have watched like your generic, like you wouldn't have gone and said Star Wars or you know Harry Potter or whatever like that. But I think it's just interesting, and people have different knowledge in terms of film and cinema. You know,
yeah.
So
I think we said last time we were chatting, we love it because we love hearing there's that different strand of someone who's on a different path of film. You know, I think I spoke about my friend Darryl, who's definitely into that kind of North European cinema, which I have no concept of at all. And he'll point me in directions that I've got no bearing of. But he'll chuck me a film going, you need to watch this to get a flavour of this and all that. So it's lovely to get all these strands.
Yeah, I don't know how people can live so like close-minded, or you know, or people might just have their mind set on like a certain film and like, oh, my opinion's right. But you know, it's so subjective film, because you know, this sounded so like such like a snobby film, but it's so subjective. It's art, you know, it's whatever you want to make from it. If you want to watch a film like 2001 for 3 hours and just say, I enjoy it for the cinematography, and I was like, oh, it's boring, yeah, but I got something out of it.
Pretty pictures.
Therefore, I like it. So, you know, it's all very subjective.
Can I tell you what the one wee Maverick threw at me 5 minutes before we met you? Just because everyone should watch this film anyway, but it was Local Hero with oh gosh, now his name's going out of my head. I swear to God, I can't remember anybody's name anymore. I'm getting too old. Not Ken Loach. What's his name? Oh, Gregory's girl. Oh God, that's terrible. Oh, his name's
Bear with everyone. He's buffering. Everyone is buffering.
Aye, buffering. We circle going round.
Peter Riegert.
Bill Forsyth. Came with me. Bill Forsyth directed it.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Gregory's Girl, Comfort and Joy.
That's the one. That's the one.
Those sort of things.
So Local Hero is probably one of Wee Maverick's favourite films, and yes, that was the one that she said to me. Local Hero will be on that list, eh? Not tonight.
Cut it.
But yes, you must watch Local Hero. If you've not seen Local Hero, it's brilliant. I
can see Peter Capaldi's in it as well.
He is a very young Peter Capaldi.
Very young.
It gives you a beautiful image of rural Scotland. Like a rural town. It's so well done. It's just a beautiful film. It's probably Bill Forsyth's best film, I would say.
Okay.
Anyway, that was a bonus one.
No, just threw it in there. That's fair. Right. Well, thank you very much for joining in this evening, Paul.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you've enjoyed it. I mean, I've got a few things to add to my list after this evening. I'll definitely prioritise some for you. You make sure I watch them.
You better.
And I'll let you know my thoughts afterwards. But yeah, I've had a lovely time this evening, as always. Just before I let you go, Paul, I just wanted to let people know that Paul has hit 1,000 followers on Twitch. And you are doing a special stream on Friday, this Friday, aren't you? So if you want to let people know a little bit about that.
Yes, well, I'm starting. Well, because of 1,000 followers, I'm going to do 1,000 minutes, which is 16 hours and 40 minutes. I'm going to start at 7 a.m. on Friday the 19th. That's this Friday over on twitch.tv/Paul Kozinski.
There we go. I'm sure you are all following Paul, but if you're not, I will drop
Do it now.
Little thing in the chat. There we go.
Thank
Perfect.
you, Queen.
But yes, make sure everyone goes and follow Paul. I will check you out Friday. At some point, I will catch up with you. Drop in, see where you're at, how your sort of sanity is along the day. But yes, thank you very much for joining, Paul. What I'm going to do now is I am going to just mute you and pop you to another screen.
No worries.
But yeah, feel free to just stick around. But I'm just going to close the stream up. But thank you very much for being here, Paul.
Thanks for having me, pal.
We'll see you. We'll see y'all very soon.
Adios.